Okay.
And normally I don't play Bible fetch. That is what Les wrong taught me once. I'm not going to play Bible fetch normally, where you just throw out.
Hear me?
But this time I will allow it, and I will chase this rabbit trail for once. But go on, yeah.
Good, but do you have your Bible handy? I'm wondering. That's all.
I'm going to get
again, trying to moderate the discussion so we keep this debate civil. I think we've established that that the God of the Bible does condone genocide, which is like I tend to agree with Vegan that's once you condone genocide, what moral leg do you have left to stand on? That's
well, you as an atheist cannot talk about what ought to be, because according to the atheist worldview, everything is permissible.
No, that's a straw man of the atheist position.
That's a total straw man, Stoller, because who here has said everything is permissible? Who said it? Name a person here who said that.
The only person that said it is you, Sola.
Okay, everybody's quiet.
Numbery what? Which one?
So basically, this is like an atheist debate.
Numbery. I guess it is numbers in English.
Right
I'll get the English Bible up. Numbers, what chapter?
And everyone here is obviously, as far as I know, atheist.
We've gone down the rabbit hole. I mean, you're so far away from using the logic argument to prove God, and that was essentially what we were discussing.
Look, Les, I said to Vegan, normally I don't, in this discussion of objective versus relative morals, I never go down the red herring and distraction. I don't go to play Bible fetch. Normally I don't, but he had this strong point apparently, so he wanted me to go to one verse, so I will allow it once, because I really want to see where there is where God is ordering mass rape or something. I'm not familiar with it. I've never read it, so I'm curious. But I'm aware it can be a red herring where he would come with Bible verse after Bible verse or so-called contradictions.
I gotta correct you right now. That is not a verse I cited. That is an entire chapter. And
where?
You could read it. Where did I keep saying? Numbers 29.
Patience,
now, I've got a suggestion.
Patience.
Read it at your own leisure later, and we'll discuss it later if you want, happily. But I'm not going to bring up a single verse out of context. I never do that, sir. Ask anyone here.
And I don't think it advances the discussion. I think that you've conceded that there is a circumstance, regardless of what you think it is, whether it's righteousness or whatever, that there is a circumstance where God has, where the God of the Bible has condoned, in fact, ordered genocide. So, from the representing the atheist perspective, and I don't want to put words in Vegan's mouth, but that would seem to be, from an outsider's perspective, that would seem to knock out the objective moral ground that God stands on.
Because as an atheist, you can only say, well, genocide or raping or raping. I don't even know what he's talking about with the order to rape a whole tribe or something. I have to read it later because I'm not familiar with that example. But according to your worldview, you can only say, well, that is not favorable for the human species. Because we as a species think that will harm us, so that's why it is not favorable, or we shouldn't do it.
In reality, we can say that there's societal consensus that that's wrong.
No,
genocide in a society. No, that's a fact.
You cannot say it is. You cannot go towards good or evil, or intrinsically evil or wrong. You can just say it is not favorable for the human species or the survival of the fittest.
That is not true. There are laws in society that determine what is right and what's wrong, what's lawful and what's
made
unlawful.
by men.
Yes, exactly. And made by man, based on community standards, as I outlined before.
Kitty.
So God is superfluous to this. I mean, there's no indication whatsoever
What
that
do you
there's
think
any
about all this,
objective law, let alone that there's an objective lawgiver. So, but anyway,
how can you?
So you were missing the whole point of the argument. William Lane Craig does drop that turd into his talks, and it has been debunked. But I'm taking just as it's taking us time to unpack it. What he does is he drops the turds, whatever the main topic of the talk is, he drops the turds on his opponent, and his opponent ends up, in most cases, unless they're smart, refuting his turds instead of actually raising points that are going to allow the opponent to win the debate. And so essentially, William Lane Craig outlasts his opponents. I mean, because say the opponent gets through 3 of the 7 arguments that 7 turds that he drops, then William Lane Craig goes to the 4th and final arguments and says, "See, my opponent couldn't even touch these. Therefore, it's reasonable to believe in God, and therefore the Christian position is reasonable." I mean, that's his whole shtick. That's what he does. But individually, atheists have rebutted each and every one of those turds. You may not agree with that. You may think that, there's modern apologetics that I haven't considered, but I've seen many, many examples of where Craig is refuted, where his weasel words have been clarified, and you can find equivocation and other kinds of logical fallacies, basically special pleading, etc. And, his worldviews are essentially non-supported.
Once again, if I refer to the debate with Sam Harris. It was about morality, and that was not 1/3 or red herring he was imposing on Sam Harris. Actually, that was the topic of the debate, and Sam Harris had all the time in the world to make his point. So I would definitely not agree with that. And also, to come back on your previous statement, I still think you have no foundation to say, for example, you guys are acting like, oh, outrageous genocide, but you don't have any foundation for saying something is intrinsically evil or wrong. You can just say it is not good for our species. That's all.
And our point was that what took us down this rat hole, and we both agreed it was a rat hole, was that you said you do, and Vegan's point was you don't. Your God in the Old Testament commits such heinous crimes against humanity that you have no position to argue. You have no position to argue that he's moral.
I would disagree, because the answer, the example I gave was raping and torturing a baby or a child for the fun of it. That was the example I gave, and you cannot line up I keep forgetting the word in English, Amalekite tribe to what happened to the Jews, for example. Because I would definitely be consistent if it was in the Bible where God said, I will, in my righteous wrath, I will use this or that to execute it, and in this case, genocide. I would say, well, yes, in that case, it is a moral or righteous thing to do.
Okay, let me ask you another question, a hypothetical.
Sure, hypothetical? I don't like that.
Let's assume that I grant that Jesus lived. Okay?
How's that? Okay, I'll go with it for now. Yeah.
It's hypothetical because I don't grant that Jesus. I haven't seen any evidence to that effect, but.
Historical fact, but go on.
Okay. Anyway, so are you saying that Jesus condoned genocide with the Amalekites?
But Jesus did hypothetically that he would condone what happened in the Old Testament, of course, because according to Scripture, he is God. He is a part of the Trinity, one essence, three persons, but he is God. Of course, he condones.
Okay, so then Jesus isn't even this. character.
According to you, according to your subjective opinion, based on your frame of reference for deciding what's right and wrong. And like I pointed out, as an atheist, I don't think you have a foundation.
I don't need a foundation. I have the same foundation that you do, which is my own subjective
Your opinion.
opinion and my own genetic sense of right and wrong. Those are propositions. I mean, there is no right and wrong. We've talked about this. What
They
humans
might
will
be
do
like,
with the
oh, genocide, oh. Then if there's no right and wrong, then why make a big fuss out of it? And I don't think
Very
you
simple.
believe that, but that's another discussion.
No, very simple, actually. It's just that the people who come to me, or generally scream the loudest about morality and right and wrong, like, for example, you're here to tell us, people like you tell me about right and wrong, but end up rationalizing genocide. I find that fascinating. There's things that are objectively right and wrong, but hey, genocide is sometimes okay. Really? I mean, the irony
That is
there
pretty
amazing.
arbitrary. Like sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. I gave a very
No, there's ever
actually.
a right
Oh
time
wait,
for
I think there's
genocide.
only
It's
one
ironic.
example in script. I'll let you
Only
speak.
one?
Go ahead.
Oh, wow.
Go ahead, sir.
That there is a justifiable reason for for mass murder. That you ever find that justifiable. That you can find even one example of, hey, here's some great sensible genocide for you. To use my wording, I'm not saying those are your exact words, of course, but that you can ever find a circumstance of justifiable genocide, even one.
Oh,
is
whoa!
incredibly ironic.
Stop right there. You are then making. You are saying that is an absolute statement that
No,
you
no. What I
believe
said
that
was
there's
ironic.
absolutely no case. No. You are suggesting, correct me if I'm wrong, that there's absolutely no case in which it would be right or okay genocide, right? According to you, that is an object.
I did not say
That
that.
is
I did not say that. What I said very simply
Sorry.
was, you who has come to tell us of an objective standard of morality, in which there are some things that are always wrong. For example,
things.
genocide doesn't make the list. Apparently, Numbers 31. I correct my original reference. Mass rape isn't covered. I mean, and by the way, if I may, what have been considered the highest crimes of the 20th century, not by myself personally, by universally everyone except a member of the Nazi Party, the highest crimes of the century are not objectively wrong. According to the criteria you lay out, do you see the irony we see here? Even genocide is not objectively wrong. You tell us there's objective right and wrong.
I want to
but-
say
Stop
something.
But how do you get bigger than genocide?
But I will stop.
According to
Stop
Jesus,
talking to stop so long. If